Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam!
Oh, I guess that means it's our turn. Light the beam. We're back all together in the room once again for a Wednesday night edition of the Sports Cave with Biggest Puma.
Yeah.
As always, I am your host, Sam Freas. The voice you heard there is the Cap himself. Joining me once again, where we find ourselves 7 days away, officially 1 week away from the NBA draft. An NBA draft that we feel like is absolutely going to be transformational for multiple teams across the league.
This time next week, we will know stuff. We will know
that is
our
so
direction.
Generic, but
we
yes,
will know
I
our
agree.
direction of the team. We will know stuff.
We will know stuff. That's the new mantra. That's the new mantra here. We 1 week until we know stuff. Every day is we're a week away from knowing stuff. But no. It's also National Go Fishing Day. Okay, fine. It's Juneteenth Eve.
There you go.
There we go. That one, more than a throwaway PR holiday, one actually worth celebrating.
It is a federal holiday, man. We get to barbecue and do things on the federal dime.
You know, it's so funny though. It still feels like it's still not treated like most federal because we're still getting. Like I saw the city put out this long, and then at the bottom it was like, but don't worry, your trash and recycling will still run as normal. So not everyone gets the day off to celebrate
that's just wrong.
When word of slavery being illegal finally hit Galveston, Texas.
Something's wrong here.
You know, the godmother of Juneteenth lives up in Dallas. She still is actually with us. She is still among us.
Kicking.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh man, what is her name? Mavis. Can't think of it now off the top of my head. But yeah, she usually goes every year out to the Juneteenth, festivities up there in North Texas.
The parades.
Right. Right.
I mean, it still amazes me that even on MLK Day, that San Antonio has one of the biggest MLK marches in America, if not the biggest, right?
Yeah, no, I think every year
amazing.
they not Mavis, Opal. I was thinking of Mavis Staples.
I was like,
it's African American Music Week or Music Month. I'm still celebrating. Miss Opal Lee of Dallas, the godmother of Juneteenth. No, we got a lot to get to on this Wednesday edition. Main segment, we're going to talk the biggest news of the day. I think the sale out of nowhere.
I just heard that 2 hours ago.
Yeah, Lakers are on the verge of being sold to the Dodgers owner. Also have some Stephen A. Smith talk that I avoided on Monday, but he's responded, and I think there's more to talk to than just hating on Stephen A., which is easy and not good content. There's actually more to talk about there. But before we get into what I watched, LG, tell the good people how they can subscribe and help us out here.
Sure. You can subscribe by pressing the subscribe button.
Wow, so enthusiastic over there, LG.
And if you're on Twitch, you can hit the follow button as well. That helps us out. Hit the like button too. That's always a bonus for us. We do have a way you can tip us so we can get some new microphones. That is buymeacoffee.com/sportscavelive. And yeah, we need some new microphones. So.
And don't feel bad, listeners. LG makes you feel like a dumbass pretty much 24/7.
What? It feels like you
just hit the subscribe button.
Yeah,
this is how you subscribe.
The one thing, LG, I'll tell you, the roommate loves hanging around LG because they have extremely similar levels of dry sarcasm.
Yeah.
And just everything, you can't tell, well, is he doing a bit or is he actually serious? And
I love going out with LG, especially when we go on vacation and he's got that dry humor, but man, when he gets a little tipsy, he starts getting a little louder.
What?
a little louder, a little louder. And
happen.
I'm like, and then he's as loud as me, and we're both going at it.
This ain't true.
This is facts.
This sounds like slander.
This is
slander. Now, as LG said, we really appreciate the 360 so odd of y'all that have subscribed so far. It's really It helps us build this thing. It helps us trying to get to that 500 mark. Helps us hit some benchmarks here as we continue to grow. And I always remind it's absolutely free. So if you're never going to even look at it,
this is the American way. It's free, baby.
Just still go give us a little subscription and keep listening to the audio versions. As every time I start to watch the YouTube video, even sitting here now, I'm slightly uncomfortable, and then when I watch it, I'm 10 times more uncomfortable.
Like watching yourself?
Yeah, 1,000%. Like I'm much more of the audio.
I'm used to it. I'm just sitting here watching I'm like, hey man, we're matching. Look at our red shirts.
Yeah, we are. We are matchy. I will say mine is a little less vibrant at least.
A little faded on.
Yeah,
there.
and I don't have the chain game as you have. I remember when I was growing up, when we all hit like junior high age, was all of a sudden when a couple of my friends started trying to bust out the chains.
The chains, yeah.
And they're terrible. Like,
was it like Cuban links or was it like total like the bigger the better?
It was not the bigger the better because
or the smaller the better.
It was more of a very thin chains.
It was like the parents were like, I'm not paying more than $100 for a chain.
I'm talking. I think these chains were like found at Goodwills and just thrown on to try to. You had like the Goodwill random shirt from the rival high school one town over. And some random chains that somebody's dad was wearing in the 80s.
I had 1 year where I had that the one-line neck choker, black choker during my Mansonite phase. You know, just the.
Now look, choker on a guy these days.
It slimmed me down.
Not so good.
Not so good.
Choker on a girl these days. Still works.
I mean,
still plays.
You know, the wifey tried to like wear a choker back in the day when it started getting stylish. Probably when Kylie Jenner, one of them, started wearing it. And I'm like, man, don't do what the 20-year-olds are doing, please. I was like, come on, man, you're 35 years old.
I think that argument can go both ways because it also like I don't want to be reminded sometimes that you're 35 years old because that means I'm 36.
Yeah,
I'm a year older. So if you want to do something to try to be younger, I fully support it. No, besides. Chains never really infiltrated the Glen Rose fashion scene, but puka shells. Puka shell
we all
necklaces.
had a puka shell phase.
That was a huge player.
Was the puka shells the same thing as those little, like where, I know the puka shells were the ones that were laid flat, but what was the?
Like the little white shells?
Yeah, that like was like a complete circle.
Oh, that were like the shark teeth or whatever that had been chiseled down.
Tooth.
Yeah. I kind of just loop all of those in as puka shells or Limp Bizkit concert attire.
Salt life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It all kind of blends together.
National Fishing Day, we have salt life and puka shells.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, man.
Yeah, National Go Fishing Day.
Tie it all together, baby.
I read as I was doing my show research to figure out what throwaway bullshit holiday it was, and I read a whole article about this is on the National Go Fishing website, and it started with, fishing is one of the oldest activities known in human history. And it's
so is gathering berries.
Right. So July 23rd, National Hunter-Gatherer. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Let's get into
Foraging Day, National Foraging Day.
Oh, I guarantee you there's one of those. Last night, what I watched, I think the biggest sports, obviously, on the TV last night was the final game of the hockey season. The Florida Ice Cats, once again, back-to-back now, raising the Stanley Cup. They won 5-1 last night in a Game 6 in Florida, which we talked about it on Monday. I was really hoping we'd get to see a Game 7 in Edmonton, but Florida very quickly shot down those ideas.
That looked like a regular season game, the way they were like playing the fast. There was no fast pacedness, and like I got to give it up to Florida's goalie. Man, he had some incredible saves. You know, I don't know what the total was.
Yeah, Big Bobrovsky.
Yeah, that dude had some.
He's a stud.
there was some sure shot goals going in there, but like, man, that guy just was on it. And then you had Edmonton having like Pee-wee style goals scored on him. But like Edmonton did not seem like they had the same energy as game one even. But even in the Stars, like they seemed like they just played faster, played harder. And it makes me think, is it the it's not midfielder. What do you call it? The midline?
Like your forwards?
Yeah, we got the old guy that was the enforcer that went down with the dislocated.
Elbow
or hand? Or
their other Hyman. Their other kind of third guy.
I think that just changed the whole aspect of the game. You know, like because as I guess someone told me on the television, the telebox, that he was their enforcer, man. He was the one who set the tone. And now that he's not in there, it just seemed like they carried like lackadaisical type stuff.
Yeah, I think it's so easy to immediately say, you know, McDavid didn't do enough or Edmonton didn't show up. I mean, McDavid still had 7 points this series. It's not like he was a total no-show.
Yeah, and of course they're going to double and triple.
And that's the thing. The way Barkov defended McDavid all series, I think that, you know, watching those games from a Stars perspective, that's something the Stars don't have on the roster. A guy that can play center like Barkov, where he is a true, absolute stud two-way player. I think the closest you would say they probably have is Rope Hintz. Maybe Wyatt Johnson is the guy that's developing into that, but he's still only 21, 22 years old.
Sure.
But the way Florida could just have Barkov stick to McDavid, that to me is what allowed them to control the series. And it's the same thing seemingly every year that Dallas has, you know, last year playing Edmonton in the conference finals. They can't get past Skinner, but then as soon as Edmonton gets to the finals, Florida handles Skinner and forces Edmonton to change goals. Well, it happened again this year. All of a sudden, Dallas makes Skinner look great in the conference finals, and then Florida just dismantles them to the point where Edmonton was flipping back and forth from goalies depending on the game. But it's one of those years where at the beginning of the season, if you had asked consensus NHL media who the best two teams in the NHL were, I think majority of them would have said Florida number 1, Edmonton number 2.
And they were in the Stanley Cups.
And they had been in it last year. Both teams got better on paper. The Stars, Jim Nill, the Stars GM, had an amazing season making moves, you know, the Rantanen trade at the deadline. And, you know, if any team besides Florida had won the Cup, I think Jim Nill would have won GM of the year. Yeah. But, you know, Florida going out and getting Brad Marchand at the deadline from Boston and then seeing the impact he had in the Stanley Cup finals and every series along the way, it feels like Florida's GM is probably headed for a nice trophy himself. Just a well-constructed team. And if you look at the Vegas odds already for next year,
I'm sure they're favorites.
Depending on which book you look at, they're either clear favorites or tied with Colorado.
Who's in their who's in their conference that can like compete with them, because they just manhandled everybody through the playoffs.
It's kind of it's
like an Eastern Conference, Western Conference type thing where it's like you knew LeBron was gonna make the championship every year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a little similar to the NBA where like the East has obviously the best team overall, but the West is probably deeper and harder to go through. Toronto in the East is always good, but always they're the Dallas Cowboys, solid in the regular season, massively underachieve in the postseason. Florida's Tampa Bay, they're Florida rival. They've been there in the they had their own run before Florida's gone on theirs. Right. Yeah, they won a couple. with Vasilevsky as their starting goalie, who was unstoppable.
Pre-COVID, right?
It was actually that's who beat the Stars in the 2020 final in the COVID bubble.
In the bubble. Nice.
So those are the two teams in Florida's division that, they like this year, Florida finished behind both of those teams in the regular season.
Yeah.
And then just ran through everybody in the postseason.
Seems like they're kind of like the Patriots, where it's like, yeah, well, we might have some hiccups, but when it's playoff time, we turn that switch, and we know we can turn that switch.
Yeah, that's it feels like more so than any other team right now. Because that switch is not an easy switch. Like it's easy to say that, and it's easy to reference teams that have done that.
Yeah.
But that is such an exception to the rule,
Yeah, like very few teams, very few in any sports can like pull that switch. We got the Patriots could do the switch, and then any LeBron, I would say Steph Curry, even when they had the down years, they could have done. They pulled that switch. I think the
best example is the Heat. The Heatles with Bosch, Wade, and LeBron, where all of a sudden, as soon as you got to the postseason,
with the big three.
Yeah.
I thought I was thinking of Jimmy Butler, but I was like, I think that was just more like coincidental. But very few like baseball. Like I would say back in the day, the St. Louis Cardinals with Pujols, they could turn that switch.
Yeah, that's a good example.
But like very rarely do you ever get that team where it's like if they creep in, we can put the Spurs on there.
I think. And I was about to say, like, notice the trend among all those is Belichick, Spoelstra, Riley, Tony La Russa, Popovich.
Coaching.
I think that's coaching. I think that's exactly what.
And
Florida,
elite.
Paul
coach.
Maurice is showing that he is probably the upper class, the highest tier of his generation of NHL coaches now, back-to-back Stanley Cup champion.
As you told me, he's making moves back and forth throughout switching lineups and defense.
Yeah, and he's a fun one, too, because his first NHL coaching, his first head coaching job, dude, I want to say he was like 29 or maybe 30, 31. He was super, super young. He was not a like generational prospect, but he was a dude that was destined to play in the NHL, but then had a career-ending injury in his early 20s when he was still playing juniors.
So he just became that NHL nerd.
So he jumped right into coaching and started working his way up. But he was named he was 28 years old when he was named the head coach of the Hartford Whalers, who are now the Carolina Hurricane.
The Hartford Whalers.
It's one of the greatest. Granted, the fact that Hartford ever had a professional team attached.
Where is Hartford?
Connecticut, right across across from all the major northeast cities up there. But he was 28 and had got the job because the person that owned the Hartford Whalers, when he bought the Whalers, he had owned the minor league team, the Canadian juniors team that Paul Maurice had developed, grown up in, and then had started coaching for them. And so then he said, "Look, I know you're only 28, but I need a coach, and we believe in you." So
get it done.
Yeah. So one of Maurice gets to lift the trophy again. I did read they already broke the trophy. We already had a crack in the base and a massive dent in the trophy. Which
that trophy gets beat up more than anything.
Oh, dude. That's nothing new. For
we got
that
someone
thing.
In the thing. You want to see the hat?
We had
this is a New Era hat. It's the 100th anniversary. So
we had the Stars when they won the Cup back in '99. You can do a lot of show research going down that road. They might have all
Oh, didn't they all do something?
They might have all put some bodily fluids in the cup, and
that thing went to bed. It's like my fantasy football trophies. Those sleep with me sometimes.
Yeah, I think it also got thrown off the roof into an empty swimming pool at one point.
That trophy's a voyeur.
That trophy was passed around by the Abbott brothers because Pantera was so tight with the team back then. But yeah, saw some of the footage of them already celebrating with it. I guarantee you, 2/3 of that team didn't sleep last night.
Yeah,
and they were. That's one thing about hockey players. Even if you don't,
they go hard, man.
If you don't know anything about hockey, just know that more than any sport, I think in the entire world, maybe a World Cup trophy, maybe. But I don't think there's a professional athlete that is not playing for his country and playing for a club. I don't think there's a professional athlete that wants to win a trophy as bad as your average hockey player. NHL player. That thing.
Hockey people go hard, man. Like I was working the door one time, and I think it was one of the Dragons. They used to come into said hangar when it first came open all the time, and they were the rowdiest bunch. I'm talking Jaeger bombs. And then all of a sudden, a prelude till later, there was an arm wrestling contest going on, and they kept bugging me. And I'm like, dude, you're 5'7". He's like, well, I play for the Dragons. And I was like, I know you play hockey, man. I see you every other day. And I end up tearing his tendon in his arm. And I felt so bad, man. He was like, don't worry about it. He was real cool about it. With his arm just dangling the rest of the night. But he kept drinking.
Well, that's the other thing. Now that the season is over, we got the list of different injuries that guys were playing through. And, what was Kachuk's injury? I think he's been playing with some kind of muscle tear for the last, couple weeks now, 3-4 weeks.
So is that what hockey does? Is like where they just give out, be like, oh, by the way, this is all the injuries we had. I guess every team.
So they don't, but hockey has the most generic injury standards. Like they're not nearly as tied into the betting side. So they don't have nearly as much pressure to give injury reports and detailed injury reports. So like a guy could literally have his head cut off and they would just say upper body injury. So it's either upper body injury or lower body injury.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
You don't get any timetable, timeline, nothing. Yeah, and so at the end of every season, you get what turns out to be a upper body injury was actually a separated shoulder or something just absolutely insane. But yeah, for Stars fans, I think I saw them. They're 5th in the odds for next year that I was looking at because you got Florida, Colorado, and Edmonton. All expected. Colorado has like 19 of their 23 players under contract for next year. So even though they lost Rantanen to Dallas, they're still expected to be really good next year.
Mix.
Yeah, and then the other team, speaking of the Hartford Whalers, Carolina is the other team that Vegas has ahead of the Stars in most of the consensus odds I was looking at. But
they played the Florida right before.
Correct. So that's
they just got mollywopped.
Exactly. Kind of like Dallas did with Edmonton in a lot of ways. I think it's clear Florida is so far ahead of everybody else. And then there's that group of Edmonton, Carolina, Dallas, and I guess Colorado, even though Dallas beat them in the first round.
How is their cap? Like, it seems like the more they're winning, the more people are going to be demanding money.
So it's funny you say that. So Sam Reinhart, the guy who scored one of the goals last night, he actually, believe, won the Finals MVP as well. He's an unrestricted free agent, and it's the first time in like 20 years that the Finals MVP is hitting the open market. So Florida's going to have some.
They're not going to have the exact same team.
They're going to have to make some moves. They're going to lose some pieces for sure, especially because they brought Marchand in at the deadline. They'll have to fit his salary under, and I think that probably takes them out of the Reinhardt sweepstakes. But hockey's weird too because they have a salary cap like every other league you're familiar with, but there are a lot of ways to legally circumvent it.
Okay, so like it's like signing bonuses for football,
Or like putting a guy on injured reserve just to make a signing and then activating him.
Yeah, you
the
told me
next
about
week.
that.
Right. There's a lot of
the Dallas when they
Vegas does it all the time. Vegas is the best at it, which it's one of those. It's like getting mad at a rich man for not paying his full taxes. But it's not illegal. If you have a problem with it, change the law, change the rules. If I'm a Vegas fan,
I got
exactly
problem with
what
it when
my
it's
team.
like change the rules, but I got my lawyer over here trying to stop you.
Yeah, 1,000%. That's usually how it plays out. But all in all, I mean, we've talked about it a lot when the Stars got eliminated. Having a team that you root for make the conference finals 3 straight years.
Ooh, Buffalo Bill in it.
We're getting close to that. And thinking forward to next year, when's the last time, Atlanta Braves, maybe, that made it to a championship series 4 straight years?
During the Yankees era.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Toronto.
I mean, who is... the odds of Dallas making it back to a conference finals for a 4th straight year,
man.
I think we're in for a bit of regression and kind of in between, not a rebuild or anything, but a resetting next year.
Do you think you guys would get the only thing I could see that could put that spark is new coach?
Well, that they will have that because they did fire DeBoer.
Yeah.
And DeBoer was the coach that took them to all 3 conference finals. So but as much as that can be a spark, I think it's also, the fact that DeBoer had as much success as quickly as he did feels more like the exemption than the norm.
It seems like the players were outplaying the coach. Can we say that? Can we put that like that? The talent was superior than the coaching.
I think we'll know the answer to that when we see what a new guy does with the group, with the current group. But the way DeBoer managed the injuries this year to even get them to a conference finals, I think it comes down to the way he handled the Ottinger situation at the end. I think if he hadn't said what he said about Ottinger, he would have had a better chance of still being the coach. But also, I was reading a lot of the player exit interviews were kind of suggesting
they weren't happy with him.
We're ready for a new voice in the room. So if your players are telling you that, it's kind of hard to argue.
This one's not hyping me up. This one's, not utilizing me the way I think I need to be utilized.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds that millionaire professional athletes would need motivation like that, I think...
Hey, man.
I think we've seen it.
We're all human.
That's exactly right.
When MOP Annie Up comes on, I'd start wrecking stuff.
Yeah, the hype levels are unrecognizable. Elsewhere, as we close the book on the NHL season, I've been enjoying you made fun of me on Monday about my addiction to the YouTube TV quad boxes.
Quad box. God, man, that's so much info.
Okay. So first of all,
you can't be paying attention to all of it.
Well, I don't. Yeah. I mean, it's first of all, when they first came out, it was quad boxes for college football games.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah, because you got 30 seconds in between unless they're running a fast pace.
Right,
but
you
then
can just bop around.
Yeah, your eyes can naturally go back and forth.
Yeah, you see a big play in the bottom left corner, you go check it out and then go back to whatever game.
Exactly.
So that was perfect for me. I never thought it could get better than that. Mm-hmm. And then they rolled out the cable news quad boxes. So then I had my Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and BBC, all 4, and I thought, so maybe it can get better.
That's getting worse because you actually got to listen to them. What are you seeing? Just a talking head?
Well, I like to see if a certain guest. I leave it on BBC, and then if a certain guest is on one of the American stations, I'll flip over to see what they're lying about.
So you switch for the guest. Now I was about to ask you. I was like, now if you see them starting to get a little little more exaggerated. Is like, is that?
Well, perfect example.
I'm going to go down there and see what this argument's about.
Perfect example. Texas's own Will Kane had the Raging Cajun Jimmy Carville on earlier this afternoon.
Carville, I love him.
So I had to check in on Kane and Carville arguing with each other. So that was a guest where I just again the cable news quad boxes were now like that was my daily routine. Wake up, turn the news on, start checking it out. So then they started giving me the local quad, so I can get all of our local affiliates all at the same time. KSAT, KBB, WI, whatever. I am here to tell you, I didn't think it was possible
to get
any better, but
dun, dun, dun.
They now give you full control over the quad boxes.
Oh.
So now
the future is now.
It is upon us.
It is upon us.
I wake up and I throw it on. I pick 2 of the news stations, depending on what hour of the day it is. And then now I've had one of the boxes on the Club World Cup because those games start, first game each day is at 11. Like today I watched Real Madrid play the Saudi Arabian champion, Al Hilal. And then the fourth box I reserve. That's correct.
I was waiting for it.
Fourth box I reserve for Food Network because Food Network is my absolute probably most watched TV channel.
So the perfect quad box for you is a sport, Food Network, a news station.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one is.
So I like 2 news stations because I want to get the balance. I want to get one from each perspective.
Let me think of this. My perfect quad box. Of course, I'm gonna have to have a sport on there. Then I'm probably gonna have cops on one.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's always good.
Like give me 24 hours of cops. And if anybody wants to go down a rabbit hole, watch some of those earlier season of Cops and what they did was we're in a better place, folks. We're in a better place. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Then I would probably do a Marvel movie. Just get the action.
Oh yeah, like a TNT or TBS that's replaying something.
One of those old movies, and then I probably throw it on like a news. Like I like BBC.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
You son of a.
I was about ready to get rid of YouTube TV ever since because they dropped the Rangers a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's the worst, man. Like no Spurs. Like they got to change that.
There's not a lot of value. Like now, the whole reason we switched to YouTube TV in the first place was, obviously cut the cord, save some money.
Yeah.
But now with all of the addition, I'm paying $100 a year to watch every Ranger game on Victory Plus.
Yeah.
Because I can't get them on YouTube TV anymore. The Spurs were on whatever Bally's became FanDuel Network or whatever, and now at least some of their games are on
Fox Sports Southwest.
The old days of Fox Sports Southwest. At this point, I'm paying more now than I was originally, but I don't know any better options. Besides YouTube TV, so I feel like they've kind of got me backed into a corner.
Well, but out of all, I tried all the options. Like I sat there and whenever I do something where I make I feel like a big decision where it's gonna affect over a certain period of my life, like a year or something. I'll sit there and do the research. DirecTV app. I used to be on.
So you're a do your own research kind of guy.
And I was on Sony PlayStation's. View.
My buddy used that for a while.
That was the best one.
He still says that.
And they basically YouTube TV took over its model. So and now they made it better. And even whenever you do certain Walking Dead, it has a dead hand that goes there that is the prompter for where you go.
For that's for the hockey. It was the little Stanley Cup. Yeah.
I'm like, hey, look at you, YouTube.
I always like it randomly when Steph will be watching something. And it'll be Bachelor in Paradise or something, and I forget, and I go to change, and it's a a rose. Like it should just be a bottle of rosé or like a passed out white woman just as the marker on the bottom.
A bottle of penicillin.
Yeah, exactly. Some boner pills for the Golden Bachelor.
Brought to you by Blue Chew.
Man, got some, actually have a Golden Bachelor tie-in earlier. There's a new trailer out for It's Always Sunny.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about that in the lightning round.
Now, did that Golden Bachelor Love Island happen yet?
It's about to.
All right.
As the roommate predicted.
I've been waiting. I was like, because I told you I'd watch it. But like
she's been saying, so ever since they started having the old people on there as the Golden Bachelor, she was saying like, just wait till they invite these old people to the beach where it's like Bachelor in Paradise.
Is it just going to be all respect? Because we don't want respect on the Love Island.
No, I think it's
we want drama, we want smashing, we want hookups, we want.
I think you're going to see some old cougars preying on young guys. I think it's going to be...
Oh, you got to throw some youngins in there.
Yeah, it's going to be diabolical, to say the least.
She's like, my 401k is in the 8 digits.
Yeah. I voted for...
I'll pick her.
I voted for Carter and Reagan.
Jesus.
She's that old. Yeah. She's like, I see both perspectives.
I thought you meant like that's the name of one of the bachelors.
Oh,
or something.
No. No.
I was like, you voted?
No,
dude?
the lady is so old. She's voted in 4 decades. But then, so that's the afternoons. And then we talked a little bit about it. I've been watching some of the Gold Cup. Mexico plays here in about half an hour tonight. They play Suriname. That should be an absolute destruction, especially after they
barely got past.
Yeah, had a bumpy road against the Dominican Republic, and then USA plays tomorrow night again. So, still kind of keeping my eye on that. It's a rough look right now. I don't know if y'all have watched any of the games or seen what the stadiums are looking like. FIFA for this Club World Cup. Reserved or rented, however you word it, they're using NFL stadiums in a lot of these cities. So, Miami had the opener, which they were able to fill because it was Inter Miami, so it's Messi, Suarez, Busquets, all of the old guys that Inter Miami has, and then PSG played in the Rose Bowl in LA. That was a good crowd. Real Madrid today was a good crowd in Miami, but
they got to pick places with like non-artificial grass.
Well, it's the problem is like the Chelsea LAFC game was played in Atlanta in the Falcon Stadium, and dude, I bet the crowd wasn't. There's no way the crowd was over 20,000 people.
Really?
In an NFL stadium, so it just looks
for Chelsea.
Awful. Yeah, it's not.
Wow.
There's just not especially like LAFC. They have a few. They have Lloris and Giroud, but there's no.
You gotta go with like a big Latin American.
That's the thing. But that's why Miami and LA are the only two that have, even New York had. It was Dortmund. It was Dortmund versus somebody in New York, and it was like 11 o'clock kickoff.
Oh,
noon in New York. There was nobody. And it's on a Monday, like a noon on a Monday. People are working.
Like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans didn't show up.
No, you're not good. Not for the German club.
Not for the. Oh, it was a German club.
Yeah. No, I think FIFA.
That's Germans.
I think FIFA has massively overestimated the draw for these games, and it also doesn't help that tickets are $100+ for random opening round
for a friendly. Yeah.
I mean, I will give them this. The teams.
Oh wait, the Gold Cup's $100+.
Well, the Club World Cup, Gold Cup's just as bad too, though. Those games, like right now, when I was driving out here, I was watching Costa Rica play the Dominican Republic in Jerry World.
Yeah.
I don't know what the actual attendance number is, but if there were 5,000 people in Jerry World, and like the visuals of it, it looked like a COVID. match. It looked like 2020 where
it looked like a certain parade that just went on.
No one had to. No one. There were 250,000 people there, sir. I don't know what sources you saw.
I saw stuff with my eyes. That's what I saw.
Well, you can't trust those. That's the problem.
Can't trust my vision anymore.
It's interesting, obviously, with the World Cup being here next year.
Yeah.
I'm really, really curious. Of course, that's going to actually be a legitimate draw.
I feel like that's going to be just mayhem.
It's shaping up. It very well could be because there's that.
Mayhem.
And then 2028 Olympic Games in LA. So we're about to get, two straight years of.
No, I'm just thinking of like they already told people like what was it? The Gold Cup CONCACAF told politely asked our government, do not send ICE agents to the games.
Yeah, and
I'm like, yo, man. And I was like, you know what's gonna happen when the World Cup shows up? Like people, like you don't think? I think some people would try to sneak into this country to watch a World Cup game. Like people are crazy. Soccer fans are crazy, dude.
Yeah, and it's not just the fans either. Like, specifically a Bocas Jr. Argentinian team, one of their defenders was not allowed into the country to play in this FIFA Club World Cup because he had never been charged with a crime in the U.S., but he had been mentioned and not involved because he wasn't charged with the crime, but he had been
a person of interest, probably.
He was in the group of other people that got charged for a crime. I can't remember. It was some kind of theft
by
or something.
Type
and so he didn't get charged or deported, but it was enough.
So now he can represent his. That is insane.
I don't know if they ever made. I know Bocas was trying to get him in. But I think you're gonna see multiple stories like that.
I mean, look at our professional athletes. Like, no offense, like if we had the rule, like other countries had the rules that we have, half the NFL can't go.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
Half the NFL couldn't go. Like they're like, oh, you have an assault charge, aggravated assault, battery on a wife. Oh, you punched your mother.
It is always funny when you see like compare other countries, like immigration policies like that, and think, like if you're what's his name, Caruso, like Alex Caruso, because he had the one time he got arrested for pot in College Station after the Lakers won the bubble championship. And then he immediately, which is also kind of weird, immediately ran back to College Station to party in the frat and sorority houses when he's late 20s. But he's a College Station Brian kid. I get it. Okay, whatever. Sure.
He had a girlfriend.
Sure. But he gets the pot conviction, and now, how many countries would he not be allowed to travel to because of a previous drug offense? So, I mean, I think it's extremely relative when you're comparing. It's very apples to oranges comparing one country to another, but yeah, we might be in for some chaos.
It's going to be some chaos, man.
Had some baseball on the TV as well last night. Rangers lose 6-1. There's not a whole lot to talk about. They couldn't get any hits with runners in scoring position. And Josh Smith, who was named the AL Player of the Week on Monday. Ever since he was named AL Player of the Week, he's been scratched from the lineup back-to-back games because of a nagging injury.
Oh, injury.
I think it's no, not a benching.
Scratched for no reason.
No, not a Castellanos benching. But I think it's a nagging ankle injury. So he's been out of the lineup. Rangers can't score runs again. Jack Leiter struggled, which, I mean, looking at this patchwork Rangers rotation, if you had told me Patrick Corbin would have a better season 2 months into the season than Jack Leiter's having, I would probably tell you this whole operation is FUBAR. But the Leiter
has gone off the rails,
right?
Sir.
But Leiter struggled last night. Corbin pitching tonight, and the Rangers are still now a game below 500. I saw we mentioned Ohtani.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see any of the debut because by the time I turned the game on,
he was
already out.
Yeah, he's a pitch count. He was on a pitch count.
Which makes sense. 18 months since his last appearance on the mound.
Still hit that ball 110 miles an hour, man.
And still hit 100 miles an hour in the first inning from the mound. He goes 1 inning, 28 pitches, but struggled, as you might expect, struggled a little bit with location, only threw 16 strikes, 1 earned run.
Not my MVP.
Well...
Man, we're not going to talk about it.
There's a good thing your team doesn't play in the NL. But, Ohtani, as you mentioned, ends up staying in the game, and Dodgers win it as they put some runs on the board after he got pulled. And then your Yankees. As I made my notes, it was 27 straight scoreless innings, and then I saw they went 2 more before.
Jazz got us a home run. Cody got us a home run. We're on the stretch right now where we're so in our head about this 5-game losing streak. And, losing to your hated rivals, Boston, will do this to you sometimes where it's just you make the stupidest mistakes. I'm sitting here watching right now, and Volpe, our Gold Glove shortstop, had a sure thing double play to end the inning, not to get a run to keep it 2-2, and he just fumbled the ball, just air, and he couldn't even get an out. But luckily, we got out the inning. It's 3-2. We got 2 on, 0 outs, bottom of the 8th. Let's make this happen.
Do we still feel like Volpe is the stud prospect he was originally framed to be? Mike Trout, same high school.
Yeah, no, he's not lived up to the lore, but defensively, he's still one of those top tier defensive, going to win a Gold Glove. Already, he was hot in the beginning. Like, he still hits for power, but he has not taken that, like what we wished the kid that we sent back in. That we got from Chicago. Who am I thinking of? He played second base. We got him in the... Man, it's funny how as soon as you leave the team, I don't even remember you.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're dead to you.
But yeah, Milky Cabrera. That's what I'm thinking of. Where it's like you have so much potential. And this is where I said it's so hard for baseball to... These number 1 prospects don't always work out.
Actually, rarely do they work out.
And it's like you
or it's Jurickson Profar that it's 12 years later he makes his first All-Star team on his 5th team he's played for.
And you got Aaron Judge, the number 1 MVP vote getter by 1 million, by more than 1 million. He didn't start until he was in his mid-20s. Like, he didn't have it. And if you could tell from his rookie year, he cranked out 55, but that's because no one knew go down and away from this guy, and he's always swinging. And then he fixed that, but now whenever he gets into his funk again, he starts swinging at those sliders and those splitters that go down and just drop down and away, and it's like he gets in that funk, and it's just man. Baseball is that 8 inches in between your ears. Yeah,
more so than
it's so
any other sport.
It's just nasty. But Carlos Stanton, I know Giancarlo Stanton, he's hitting 500, man. He's back mashing.
Well, he's 2 games. He's
500.
2 for 4?
He's 500.
Okay.
That's what he is.
Yeah, it's all in. That's like a typical politician. It's all in how you frame it. No, he's a 500 hitter. He's the best hitter in baseball this year. Well, he's 2 for 4.
Well, look at so baseball is so crazy, and this is what this year why Judge was ridiculous with his stats, and now no one ever was doing what he did. He's gone through his first little slump where he's struck out. And have you seen his average tank?
Yeah, down to 370?
Yeah, 370. Yeah. He was cruising near 400. And that's just 5 games of not having your best stuff.
You know how I know Judge was slumping? Because over the last week and a half,
I've been a mopey bitch.
Well, that too. 1, yes, that. But 2, Marcus Semien, who has finally come out of his terrible slump to start the year.
Oh, yeah.
Over the last 10 days, Marcus Semien has a higher slugging percentage than Aaron Judge, which was something I was telling myself to make me feel better about the Rangers. So just so you know,
don't compare your Rangers to my Yankees. Don't compare your Rangers to my Yankees.
Marcus Semien,
no.
way better hitter than Aaron Judge if you only look at the last 10 days worth of evidence.
You are out of your element,
On a
Donnie.
level 1 to 10, obviously your team just went almost 30 innings without scoring a run. What's the overarching concern level? As you view them as a World Series contender, obviously.
Obviously.
So what's the concern level of how far off the pace?
I'm not too concerned, because we have 16 games in 16 days. All right, so this is our longest stretch. This is it. This is like, we're not going to have another stretch like this. We were playing contenders. We played our rivals. We're playing tough teams. Kansas City Royals, that was, I don't know if you remember back in the playoffs last year.
It was a great series.
Yeah, it was a great series. We were chippy with each other. Jazz, man, he hates him that third baseman. I can't remember him, but like, he's like, I'm about to, like, when he got tagged hard and right on top of the head, and he said, if he does that again, I'm throwing.
Yeah, the Royals are underachieving because Bobby Witt Jr. is not having nearly the same year as he did last year.
Yeah, and so we got, this is the toughest part, and then we got the All-Star break where we can sit there and get some days, rest up. We got we got Carlos Stanton back. He's hitting. That's good. We got Luis Hill is supposed to be our number 3 starter. He's starting to do simulated games, so he's coming back. We got a couple bullpen people that are starting to get. So we've been injury ridden, and there's a reason why Aaron Boone got selected as the All-Star coach, because from what he has done,
he's not alone either.
He's not. He got Joe. He
got Joe Torre.
Joe Torre.
Yeah, I like
Joe Torre.
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
And Cleveland Indians as the backup coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so from what the Yankees have done with the injuries, especially to Garrett Cole before the season even started, we have overachieved big time. If you told me
I think
at
that's
the beginning of the season that Judge was coming off injury, Giancarlo, we don't even know if he's going to play. Hill went down, Smith went down. We're bringing up 2 rookies to go be our starters, our 4th and 5th starters. No, I would have been like, man, we're gonna be fighting for a wild card, but we're leading the division. We're 4th in the league. It's like 4th in all of baseball, not just not the American League. I think we're still 2nd or 3rd. But I mean, shit, Phillies had a 9-game losing streak, and they're still up there in their division.
Yeah, I think you've slipped. I think the Yankees are back down to like 6th overall best record, because I was looking at it earlier, because the Tigers are starting to like, that number is in. The Tigers are 20 games over 500.
Man, they got to come back down to earth sometime.
You keep expecting it. That whole American League Central outside of the White Sox is pesky, to say the least. Yeah, my Rangers, I mean, 6 games out of the division, but only a game and a half back of the wild card. With the pitching staff they have, and I think the big
potential.
Yeah, especially for you as a Yankee fan, the Yankees are going to make moves.
Oh yeah,
at or before the deadline.
Yeah.
So supplements are going to come eventually.
Right now we had Ben Rice, who has been playing first base. We put him in as catcher.
He's about to be your catcher,
because that guy can hit just as hard as Judge and Stanton, and like, it's the hard hit balls that get us, seemingly infield out into a single, or a seemingly single into the outfield to a double.
Thinking about the Yankees, y'all know you're a buyer. You're going to be making moves. The Rangers, I feel, are still, despite not being far out of it numerically, I think the decision makers are still seemingly trying to decide, what are we buyers? Are we sellers? Because all of a sudden, if the Rangers decide our farm system isn't top 10 anymore, we need to replenish, there are guys that teams like the Yankees would be.
Well, we have three
really
starters that
in.
just sit the bench. Like, that's right. Like, we can't, like, Wells. We got Wells, DJ LeMahieu, and John Carlos in today. And you can mix and match any one of those. And it's hard, like, even they brought it up on the Yankees, podcast. I mean, you had Paul O'Neill saying, man, without having the same lineup day after day, it's hard to, get comfortable. So I think we need to get to that. This is our lineup 90% of the time.
Yeah, trim a little fat, streamline, get some consistency, get some repetition.
Get some bullpen.
Yeah.
And maybe shoot for an ace. Like, obviously, Cabrera went out with Oswaldo. Cabrera went out with that horrible leg injury. They say he might be able to come back. But, like, we could be going after a third baseman, put Jazz back at second, and then we might be going after a starter.
See, and that's where, thinking about the Rangers, obviously, with the starting pitchers they have now,
give us one.
Uvalde locked in. Well, it's not going to be a gift. It's going to be a high asking price if they do decide to be sellers, because
we'll give you
Uvalde. If there's any starting pitcher on the market available for a team that actually has championship aspirations, Uvalde has shown that his postseason grit and ability to show up for the big moments with Boston and then with Texas. He's a World Series icon for Boston and for two teams. And so, if you're looking to replenish a farm system,
that'd be a little sharp stick.
That would be,
that would be a little sharp stick coming to the Yankees.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't, and it won't be the last. I hope the Rangers don't. Obviously, I hope they don't become sellers. But as many MLB The Show franchises that I've run, I know once the prospect cupboard gets bare, as it is for Texas, you got to do something to replenish it. Yeah. And moving a guy like Uvalde, Texas's own, Alvin's own. I like
that pitcher in Pittsburgh. We can go for that.
What, Skeens? Yeah. Well, honestly, just
back the dump truck of money.
I was about to say, just like any Tampa Bay stud pitcher over the last 20 years. I mean, it's only a matter of time for somebody pays an insane amount either on the open market or Pittsburgh moves, because they know they're not going to be able to re-sign him. Yeah, we're getting close. Obviously, once the NBA Finals potentially could be over tomorrow night.
Is this we can lead into the main segment?
No, hold on. The NBA Finals could be over tomorrow night. NBA Draft a week from tonight.
Okay.
So really, in a week, we're about to. NHL season ended last night. By the time we sit in the room on NBA Draft night, the season NBA will be over. I guess we'll have first round Wednesday night, second round Thursday night, but then it'll be all free agency and trades, which we'll still check in on. But we're about to get to the full baseball has my full attention part of the summer. And
it comes right around All-Star break.
Yeah, the other part of that is I started prepping for our NFL division previews we're going to start doing in July.
Nice.
Because I figured as we talk baseball, as we watch baseball, we can start trying to think about some NFL storylines.
Some parlays.
Yeah, and start looking at
who's going to win this.
Yeah, we'll look at, we'll make a
some
trip.
crow later in the year.
Bingo. Exactly. But the only other thing I had, and LG, you might be able to help me with this. I don't know if you've ever signed up or been selected. I actually got selected to do a play test on a upcoming video game.
No, I've never done that.
You've never applied.
So you're like a tester to see if something's messed up.
Nope. So it's a
grandma's boy style.
Very much so. Yeah. Normally, I don't want to say too much bad about the company because I did finally get selected after trying for multiple years. The Satan of sports games, EA Sports.
Oh, buddy.
Has been working like 4 or 5 years now on a new skate game.
Oh, yeah.
Skateboarding game.
Yeah, it's.
I thought you were going to say NBA. I was like, they just need to give up on that.
No,
already.
God, no. No, I wouldn't. Any like playtesting for
NBA?
For Madden or FIFA or anything like that, I feel like doing a playtest would just be like playing the current version because the games never change.
It's the biggest ripoff of gaming history.
Yeah,
buying the game every year for our roster update.
Bingo.
See, that's why I loved Madden 05 with the hit stick.
Yeah, you actually got innovation.
Yeah.
You actually got something new added to the game. No, when I was in college, some of the most fun I ever had, absolutely lit playing video games, was playing Skate 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, yeah.
Like those Skate games were. It was. I remember one of my roommates. A roommate where we actually literally built a half pipe in the backyard in Stephenville, Texas. That was so.
Did you drop in?
Yeah, but it would.
It didn't work out.
I was more of a 20-inch BMX kid than skateboard. Once I got tall in junior high, but we built a redneck half pipe, and he was the kid who introduced me to skate. And obviously, growing up, it was all Tony Hawk.
Oh yeah,
because
it turned from button mashing to actually doing it with the analogs.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was all in on skate.
Dude,
back in the day.
It was so fun, and the way like having him who actually skated every day. Yeah. Him like teach me how to play the game and like actually
like a pop shove it. You actually almost the analog would have to be like a pop shove
exactly.
it.
And so like I fell in love with the game, and it was the realism compared to Tony Hawk. Was such a clean, like it didn't feel like it was a skateboard game like Tony Hawk, but they felt like two different genres almost. Like one is arcade, one is real, like a sim. Yeah,
you would sit there and hit like a 9-stepper.
It's like the difference between like Cruising USA and Gran Turismo or Forza or something,
Tony Hawk, I could sit there and get a combo going on for about 10 minutes.
Right, yeah, like, just manualing and
15 grinding. Yeah,
exactly.
18 different tricks on a grind. Now, I'll tell you, this is an old head move. Were you able to ever pull off the 900 in the school? And the original Tony Hawk.
Yeah, with
do you remember what you had to do? You had to start from the very beginning,
top,
and then
from
hit
the
that
roof.
Hit that grind all the way on the side, and then go all the way through to the back pull, and then you hit that back pull, and you could pull a 900.
Man, simpler times. Did you play? Well, you would probably like them. They've re-released Tony Hawk 1 and 2, and now they're re-releasing 3 and 4.
I just don't think my fingers are arthritic now, man.
Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah, the EA's been working on this new skate game for half a decade, probably longer, and I've been trying to get in on their playtest list, and I got the email today that sometime start the week of July 2nd, they're going to start. They're opening up new waves of playtesters.
Oh man!
So
I bet you need to bring that. Can we Twitch that?
See,
that's
the problem.
You can't,
because I think we can, because I was in the questionnaire. I was specifically asked, do you have a streaming platform? Do you plan on streaming it? And I said yes. And I haven't read anything yet.
But they gave you the go ahead.
I've got the access so far, and starting early July. And the cool thing is, that apparently once I get access, I'll have it the rest of the time until the game is actually if it ever is eventually released. So
there's no you got 2 months.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I don't think I get kicked out. I think I'm finally I've just been in line for 18 months.
And you got to bring the system because they're not going to send you a CD.
No. It's all.
I'm old school like that.
Yeah. So
Like, let me borrow the game.
Something to here you go. Or go rent it from Blockbuster.
Exactly.
Yeah, I something to look forward to now this summer. I would be lying if I wasn't actually genuinely really, really excited about getting selected for that. So I'll keep you all updated.
I'm gonna play that one, man, because I'm excited because I've actually through one of my the chat GPT, like the AI. Yes. I've been on an algorithm of skate videos of them like going down a tower or something, and I'm like, what skate is this? Like what number?
Yeah, it's starting to. There's starting to be more clips that are leaking out from the.
So that's the new skate that's coming out. Okay, so all right.
I think so.
I've been seeing it on Facebook and IG. So
there's another game that came. I think it's called Session, and I picked it up for a minute, but it was kind of a train wreck, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. But besides that, I also played way too much Grand Theft Auto yesterday with that new update coming out. But let's jump into the main segment tonight because had some pretty shocking news out of nowhere drop this afternoon where...
Is Halliburton hurt?
For the first time, potentially. He's hurt, but the bigger news was the fact that for the first time since 1979,
Jesus,
the Buss family will not be operating owners of the Los Angeles Lakers. They're going to sell to the the guy who owns the Dodgers. What's his name? Mark Walter, selling for $10 billion.
$10 billion.
$10 billion. Of course, the Cowboys fan in me says, I went and looked back up the most recent Forbes list of expected values, and the Lakers are selling for a couple billion and a half more than Forbes had them listed at. And Forbes had the Cowboys listed at $10.1 billion. So now...
I wonder if that had anything to do with that asking price.
Well, I think the bigger question is now, like if Jerry put the Cowboys on the open market right now with the stadium, with the facilities, the Star in Frisco, all of that, dude, that's a $20 billion valuation. $15 billion
what was
minimum.
What was the evaluation? So, like, was it sold 20% more than what it was evaluated at? 30% more? 50% more?
I guess by percent, you would have said the Lakers, they had them listed at 7.1 and they sold for 10, so a 30%.
30%. So
roughly
not a $20 billion. So I would see.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the Lakers.
I know, but the Cowboys.
That's an NBA team. The NFL teams are all just by nature.
I say 15 bill.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. And that would be your 30%.
Sell it, Jerry. Sell it.
I'm just saying.
Actually, don't sell it. I love it.
I was about to say. Thank you for picking up what I was putting down. Like,
I got Puma wearing red over here, Niners red.
Jerry,
I love it.
You could get $20 billion tomorrow if you just sold the team.
Don't do it.
Just an idea.
Don't listen to them, Jerry.
Just an idea. It's kind of weird, though, out of nowhere.
Keep that Arkansas waterfall going.
Out of nowhere, now we've got the Lakers sold for $10 billion. Mm-hmm. Last month, it was the Celtics sold for $6.1 billion.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Mavericks, the team sold before that for $3.5 billion. So it makes me wonder if these NBA owners might know something. The rumors with Cuban was he needed the money. The rumors with the Boston guy was he was old and he wanted to cash out so he could just for his inheritance for his family.
Are they like building their bunkers in mountains now?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they know something. It's
why all of a
sudden?
It's going
to take us 10 years to get this mansion in the mountain and keep my family safe from nuclear destruction.
After the Lakers just trade for Luka and increase but no one cares about the Yankees. Quit being distracted.
I'm done.
After the Lakers trade for Luka and increase their value, it's a weird time. Again, like Cuban had Luka and sold. Now Genie, they trade for him and they sell.
Yeah, man, something's going on. Something's in the water, and it ain't the fluoride.
I wonder. They're locked into the media deal, so it's not like I saw Clay Travis and Mark Cuban arguing about NBA ratings versus his radio show ratings all on social. Yeah, it's stupid. I live too much online, but it's like the ratings don't matter when the contract number or when the media rights deal is already locked in. I mean, it could hurt them in the next round of negotiations, but I don't think it's like those three owners are seeing the league crumbling or anything. It's just weird to
with
see.
Those franchises. You got the Lakers and Boston.
The two franchises that are the linchpins of NBA modern history.
Yeah. Like, I mean, how many epic
And the Mavs
series,
are still a team in a top 5 market, granted without the same history or anywhere close, but still a top 5 media market, top 4 media market with Dallas.
Not without Luka.
No, that team. Well, now the Cooper flag just makes it right back up.
We'll see what happens on that one. But yeah, like
I like how you talk about any kind of mystery of Cooper flag. We'll see what happens there.
It might happen.
The kid literally should be attending his high school prom this year.
Greg, I know the score.
This week.
Thank you. They're just roasting me in here.
Love to hear it.
I hate it.
Love to hear it.
God, we suck again.
I think if you're an LA fan, there's probably some level of the excitement that you've seen what this Walter dude has done with the Dodgers. Yeah. You've seen their willingness to spend on the team.
God, but like how? Like how do they keep it under? Like he has prolonged it for so maybe. Is that why he did the contracts like he did? Is because he knew he was trying to purchase the Lakers and he needed the available money, so he wasn't doing signing bonuses. He was doing delayed contracts.
I don't think money is any hindrance to this ownership group because this is what his diversified holding company, a jerk off way of saying this is what this hedge fund rich guy owns, right?
Yeah.
LA Dodgers, now LA Lakers.
Galaxy.
LA Sparks, Premier League club Chelsea, professional, the big one coming up, he's a primary owner in the new Cadillac Formula One team that is joining Formula One next year. So the dude has ownership group in Chelsea, a Formula One team, the Dodgers, and the Lakers now.
So now he's got he's got the whole country's attention with some type of sport.
Yeah, I don't think money.
Almost the whole world attention.
The whole world.
If he gets that's
Chelsea
Formula One.
And Formula One.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think the Lakers are going to. One of the Dallas friends I have was telling me it's because Jeannie Buss knows Luka's not going to sign the extension in 2026, so she's trying to get. And I was like, "Dude,
why is he not?
It's not. No. Of course he is. Of course he is. It's the Lakers.
He's the king already. Like how Judge is the king of New York, Luka is the king of LA.
And especially with LeBron ceding the spotlight by the time Luka's up. No, it's. I think anytime the most valuable team in a sport in their respective sport gets sold. There's a lot of questions to ask because it does seem out of nowhere. The other weird thing is, similar to the Mavs, when they sold, it was still said, well, Cuban's still going to be the governor and still going to be the representative at owner meetings, governor meetings, whatever.
But Jeannie said yes.
They're saying the same thing, and I bet she actually does stay. Unlike Cuban, who was told, no, we're not doing that.
She already said yes.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, from what I saw from TV and everything, but like she's so locked in, and that reminds her of her dad, and she was daddy's little girl.
And that's why I think
I think she truly cares about that team more than anybody out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I think they'll still keep her as the figurehead. God rest his soul. Jeannie Buss is an interesting one to begin with because are you familiar? You know she's partnered with Jay Moore.
Oh, yeah.
The old comedian.
The comedian / sports.
Right. It was all, what was that? The Best Damn Sports Show period for a while. He's done a lot of stuff, but
I like that show.
Yeah, that was a good era of sports show. That was back when it was everyone. It was again like we were talking about inside the NBA. It was more like a podcast, just a hangout, and less of a stuffy suit like Stephen A. Smith. Like we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is exactly what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. No, none of that.
Yeah.
No. Her and Jay Moore have a really interesting arrangement. So they
open. Maybe
it's L.A. Everyone is. They live in the same building. But they have it's a 3-story like hyper exclusive apartment building, right?
Yeah. So he has like a man cave floor.
It's even better. He has the whole bottom floor. She has the whole top floor. And then there's just another random rich person that lives in between them. So she's talked about this on podcasts before.
Like, do they know him?
No, I mean they do now, as friendly,
as a tenant,
right? As a tenant, right? Because I think she owns the building too, and so like she'll come down to the first floor and they'll hang out, watch a movie, have dinner. But at the end of the night, she goes back up to her top floor and he sleeps on the. I say all this to suggest.
That is an open relationship.
I mean, it's at least.
You got a buffer. You got a buffer floor for some loud noises.
Exactly. I don't think
loud noises.
I think she's probably checking the security cameras if she hears anything. But
man,
I always.
I will not give you the ring code.
Yeah. It always. When you ask, how do these relationships of the ultra wealthy and famous survive? It's because of crap like that. It's because of
I'm a full component of separate beds. You know what I'm saying? Like I toss and turn. I don't need anybody getting there except my puppies. But they curl up on my feet. They know their spot. But
how about separate apartment units, separated by a stranger in the middle?
I have a more heathenism type attitude, sir.
Yeah, fair.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we live one life. Why do we want to deny ourselves any pleasure?
Well, I think looking at Jeannie Buss, forever it was the naked picture of her with the basketball covering everything as her social media avatar. I think that's changed now. Yeah, it's Jeannie Buss.
You act like I'm like sitting here. She's hot. I mean, I guess it's L.A.
Do some show research. Yeah,
I'm gonna do a little research here in a little while.
Yeah, you mentioned Halliburton, strained calf.
Strained calf is what they said.
0 field goals in that Game 5 loss. Ended up with 4 points from the free throw line, but playing with a strained calf,
man, like. There has been 3-4 series that have been played like that were stripped from us this year to be all-time greats. Tatum going down, Steph going down, Lillard with the blood clot. I'm missing one other thing.
Another major one. It feels like now Halliburton with the strained calf.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I think I'm missing one, but like it's just I feel like this was a injury plagued year, man, and it's gonna be more of the same conversation. Do we need 82 games? Do we need 82 games? Are we even locked in on NBA during football season? You can start ramping it up, in December. Let's start out with the play-in game.
Yeah,
let's start out with a playing game. Let's get their juices flowing.
I think the answer to me has always been start the season in early December and then extend it through August. So then
not the playing game, but the tournament. You mean
the in-season tournament. Tournament. I think the getting out of because here the other problem is as much as you try to get out of the NFL's way, the NFL's just gonna do whatever they want to do. Like they're having Christmas Day games now, when for years it was the NBA owned Christmas Day. Well,
Thanksgiving was football,
right? And Christmas is basketball. Well, now it's both of them are football, and New Year's Day is college football. So you're just not gonna beat football, but at least if you started in December, you're still having the bulk of your season being played outside of the football window.
And you'll catch half those people's teams that are already out.
Yeah.
The Browns.
Yeah, when your team is when your team is
Jaguars.
3-13. Yeah. I have long pushed back against shortening the season. I don't think there's no, when we think about hockey that plays 82 games, a much more physical sport, much faster sport.
But you got to think, they're gliding. They're not sitting there putting the vibration on their kneecaps, everything. They're not making those cuts on their tendons and stuff. And as they're pushing away from the ice, there's give.
Yeah.
They're like, God rest his soul, sports science guy, He could sit there
John Brinkus.
He could attest to this, that like while hockey looks way more physical and these guys are absolutely some of the toughest people in the world, you can't do it's totally different from being tough and then tearing your ACL. There's nothing you can do. That's not a toughness thing.
Yeah,
that's just physics.
Science.
I think the rush to say the NBA needs to play less games overall, it doesn't necessarily. While you might be right, and
I'm just saying we got
sense,
robbed of great series this year.
But why 82 games have been the case for 50 years?
50 years, yes.
How many seasons? What's the percent occurrence of this? 82 games?
I thought it was a little less than
it's like the mid-70s?
I thought it was in the 80s.
Late 70s?
Well, I mean, I guess we are in 2025.
Yeah, it does. I heard someone talk about Back to the Future was made, he goes 30 years into the past. Well, now,
where's
if
my
Back
hoverboard?
to the Future was made right now, they would be going back to 1995.
Hey, we got the ad screen that sits there and goes out at people that looks like it's 3D. Where's my hoverboard?
We were both off. It was actually later. It was actually earlier than I said. It was 67, 68 when the NBA switched to 82 games. So
is that the merger?
All of that, all of that being said, it feels more like a overreaction to a statistical anomaly that we had all of these injuries versus something that we can expect to see every year. Like, I don't think next year we're going to see 3 teams lose their best player in the middle of a playoff run.
Well, we're not going to see that because those players aren't going to be back until the late of the run.
Well, the only one would be Tatum there. But I think especially the, like Lillard's blood clots, I don't think that had anything to do with Wemby's 82 games. Wemby's blood clots, that's not 82 games. I know there's some people out there listening like, I know exactly what that had to do with. I'll tell you. It's the Fauci ouch. No. I just don't think the injuries are necessarily directly correlated to the amount of games. Like, it feels like if anything, I would much rather see the league be more lenient to player rest than penalizing it, because I would rather see them keep the 82-game season. I'm worried the NBA is going to say now, look, we see your injuries. We know y'all want more time off during the regular season, but instead, we still expect you to play every game, so we'll lower the season to 72 instead of 82.
Yeah.
And I would just rather see them keep the 82, because the other thing, it's like baseball. Like, we have the split he only did it in a 121-game season. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, like, it's hard to there's no consistency anymore. And for the league, for the most part, the Celtics won championships before there was an 82-game season, but there were 8 teams in the league. I'm
just thinking, I
like the consistency of the record book dating all the way back to the late 60s.
With baseball and with baseball, hockey, and Like those, they're not as physically demanding with the bigger, faster athlete. Football and basketball are consistent to the bigger, better athlete.
But let me ask
for
you this.
Injuries.
So one of those sports you're suggesting should lose 10 games. The other sport keeps adding games. And the injuries are just as prevalent, but there's not nearly as much of a concern about the injuries in one sport versus the other.
Because you know who they market? The quarterback. And you know who's the most protected? The quarterback.
Sure. But I think, again,
as long as they can market the quarterback, they can protect him, they feel like they can still put that product on the board, and it's next man up.
It's my quarterback.
If we got rid of the artificial turf, you know how much injuries wouldn't be. Because look at soccer. They're running around. There is no break, for 45 plus minutes. But it's the fact that they spend $1 million on their grass, which is also sewn in with a little bit of artificial.
Yeah.
And why can't we just I'm talking like $1 million and a half. These owners can't ante up $1.5 million to save their players, their star players that they make money on, who, Tom Brady went down. What happened to your ticket sales? I bet you lost more than $1 million.
Yeah, the Matt Castle impact that year that Brady missed the whole season.
Yeah, so it's like there's things to do that are just seem straight,
Yeah, it's insane what Real Madrid just installed an entirely new underground system of how they
keep heating system. Yeah.
Yeah, and it grow and then they rotate it up to it's insane.
It's called aquaponics.
Yeah, it is, sure is.
And we have a whole nother podcast.
That's how
that.
that's how you grow the best grass for soccer pitches, of course, or football fields.
For the best pitch in the world.
Yeah, I hate to hear the rush to
lower games.
Yeah, because it to me at the end of the day, yes, we lost Tatum. Yes, we lost Durant in an NBA Finals a couple years ago.
And it could be an anomaly because they were playing hard. But it's still in October,
both teams play hard.
Who is locked in on NBA?
No, that's the bigger to me is don't eliminate games.
Why not push
start
the NBA?
In December, stretch all the way into September if you have to.
Yeah.
And give more games or more days between games.
Why can't the finals of the NBA be in the end of July? Right before preseason of football.
I would say even further. I would say NBA Finals have them literally as training camp is opening up.
That's August. So we started
Stretch.
the NBA as in December, a little bit before December.
Because you need what? Right now it's October to June.
The end of October.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have November, December. So 1 month push. That just seems
That's still 8 months.
The lull of July that we always talk about, that we're sitting here watching OTAs in baseball. You know what I'm saying? We could be getting prime NBA action and maybe give them right before the playoffs, give them a 2 week off. Rest them, rest everything. We want your best.
Yeah, treat it like the NFL does the last 2 weeks of the season when you've already clinched a playoff spot. Again, I think, but that would require the league allowing teams to do that because now if you sit stars like that at any point in the season, it's a major fine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Not sit them during the game. Give them a week off. Give them the whole NBA a week off.
Oh, more like an all-star break kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. Have an extra all-star break.
That's an interesting idea. Have a week in between the regular season and the postseason, just to potentially get, if guys are close to being healthy, then they're not fighting through injury to play.
Look at the bubble. That totally changed. You think the Lakers were going to win if they didn't get a month off?
Oh, no.
Anthony Davis was already hurt. No. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Anthony Davis was already hurt, and he was also on the verge of being hurt again. Because that's just Anthony Davis. Yeah. Real quickly here, closing out the main sentence, let's talk some Stephen A. because, LG, I sent you a couple clips. I thought about talking about this on Monday, and Stephen A. is about the same way as every episode we talk basketball. We could talk Stephen A. Every episode we talk football. We could talk Jerry.
Mr. 1.5 average.
There's always something to bitch about.
Yeah.
And it's not good content to me to continually be bitching about the same things that are not going to change. Mm-hmm. And Stephen A. firmly falls into that category. So during Game 4 of the NBA Finals, he got someone up in the triple deck zoomed into his camera, zoomed into the screen of his phone, and saw that he was playing solitaire. Yeah. And, of course, my first reaction is, well, it's surely this was taken during halftime. Oh, wait, no, he's on the halftime show, so it couldn't have been that. Surely this was taken between the first or the second quarter, in between quarters, or during a TV timeout. And, of course, this was Stephen A.'s response on social media. He said, before we got video evidence, he said, "Yep, that's me. Who would have thought I can multitask, especially during timeouts? Hope y'all are enjoying the NBA Finals. This is going 7 games now," which doesn't look like that's going to be true. But so he defends himself by saying he's playing during timeouts. Yeah. Well, then we got this video that showed otherwise. So you can see in the video, that's an Oklahoma City fast break. It's not during a timeout. It's not in between quarters. It's literally during Game 4 of an NBA Finals as one team is on a fast break. Yeah. It's the most exciting potential moment.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Please.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. His head doesn't look down. He looks like he's watching the game. And the screen's open. So, therefore, after the fast break, he's just probably waiting for a timeout just to go back down. I'm just saying this.
I think your phone locks a little quicker than that, first of all. So that means he's touched it with it.
You can choose your lock. You think these professionals have the lock screen go on for like 30 seconds?
I think they have it way shorter because they don't want people looking at their phone.
I think they have it open up all the time because they're always looking at new content.
They're always looking at solitaire. Yeah. He's not checking sources. He's playing solitaire. So we can devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Sure, but also you have it open during
why even
play,
why even say anything?
And why lie? Why lie? Because this is nowadays, and this is a playbook that works it works in all forms of media. Accountability is now persecution. No one is held accountable, and instead you're just attacking me for no reason, and I'm going to lie and tell you you're wrong, even though there's evidence, like you were saying, like you saw it with your eyes. Well, no, you can't believe your eyes.
Exactly.
Because that is actually not evidence to push for any level of accountability, because asking for accountability just means you're being persecuted now. And secondly, this was his response, which was right in line with what I would expect. And I ask, if you're the NBA, why do you keep doing business with ESPN at the length that you do? They hate your product. During the NBA Finals, they talk about Dak Prescott's legacy on morning shows.
Well, he got his job because he was basically
he was AI because he was the Philly reporter when AI came up, and he got the most access to AI. Yeah, but that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, but I thought they
ago.
would try to fire him over something, and then he was suing ESPN, and they end up backing down and giving him the contract.
Now that I don't remember. It vaguely sounds familiar.
So I'm gonna have to be fact checked on that one. But I believe, I'm not gonna say it's a DEI hire or anything like that. But he put pressure on ESPN for something that they were doing wrong, and ESPN was doing a lot of wrong back then. Firing people for no reason.
See, that's the thing that drives me crazy. even if the league doesn't care because I take that back. The league wants Stephen A. Smith because he drives up interest. The fact that ESPN fires guys like Zach Lowe or other NBA, like really good NBA journalists, NBA reporters,
Jamel Hill,
to actually pay Stephen A. the equivalent of a 6-man salary in the NBA. This was his response when he went on Sirius XM on one of the shows. I think it was Legler's show, and talked about the incident.
I can ask you a question. I can also be playing a little game on my phone.
That's right. Like I was doing solitaire.
What's going on here?
And I was doing what the hell I always do. And for those out there who don't like it, kiss my ass. When I'm watching the game, I'm watching the game. If there's a break in the action, it could be a dead ball, it could be a timeout or something like that. I can play the damn thing for 2 seconds. Somebody is standing over me, upper deck, zooming in on my phone, watching me and saying, "Oh, he's playing solitaire. He's not focusing on the game." I watch over 100 games a year.
That's
I'm on
your
TV
job.
every morning for 2 hours, 10 hours live every day. And that's just one job. That don't count Countdown. That don't count Sports Center. That don't count all the obligations that I have. And I'm sitting there and getting a little break, and I decided to play a little solitaire, which, by the way, I always do.
Like,
and I
you're
mean
supposed to watch
always.
all of them,
If I sit up there, if there's halftime, I might go on my phone for 2 minutes and play solitaire. At the end of the game, before a game, I do the same thing. Damn it, if you had a little break in between, I might have been praying it again because I like the game.
How'd you do in that particular game?
I won that particular game.
Well, solitaire was okay. It could have been something else on that
LG.
phone.
Right.
What a suck-up question that is. How'd you do in that particular game? Well, I won that game.
Yeah.
Like, if he had lost it, what's he going to say there? Like, they're
Those
just
little fluffer questions.
such a suck-up question.
Oh, my God.
Also,
Like,
on his original
I was like, go
post,
behind the screen and ask that question.
he
there,
got
buddy.
community noted. When he said, like, it was during a timeout, and it was like, Steven was on solitaire on his phone while the game was being played. Keep playing it, LG.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It could have been something else. They don't understand. I'm looking at the solitaire, and I'm like, that's all? Thank God.
That's G. That's rated G.
You know, I'm like, please, come on. Now. I work too damn hard,
So
too
now
long,
we're
too many
laughing
hours
about,
to be wondering.
I could
to
be
worried
watching
about what
porn at an NBA Finals game that I'm supposed to be giving analysis on. It could have been worse. It could have been porn. I could have been watching some girl get railed.
It could have been child pornography.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. And the stupidest
It's like
thing
you missed
about
the
it
point, man. You
is
missed the point.
It literally it does everything. It does everything he wants. It gets reactions like this. Again, going back to we could always talk about
I can do
Jerry.
whatever the hell I want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's accountability is just you persecuting me for being myself.
Yeah.
I watch 100 games a year. Well, that's your job.
How dare you?
And at the end of
me.
it was just solitaire. It could have been porn. Like, what are we even
That's not
doing
even the
here?
point.
Right. What are
It's
we
not even the point.
even doing? And then during the NBA Finals, they do a segment about the Memphis Grizzlies, which Ja Morant responds, just randomly tweets out, talking about the Grizz more than the Finals. And it was after they had made the Desmond Bane trade.
I saw that, man.
But Stephen A. Smith had also talked about how specific players had told him they didn't want to live in Memphis and didn't feel safe in Memphis. So then Stephen A. replies, "So this is what we're doing now, Ja? I recall talking about the Finals, but the Grizz made news because of Bane getting traded and your possible extension coming up. Would you prefer I go into details about what the hell has been going on in Memphis?" Well, what the hell's been going on in Memphis is the crime rate has gone down 2 years concurrently.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't fit your narrative. Or even more, why players have stated they're not interested in going to Memphis, or even more details, more in all caps. Or would you like me to leave well enough alone and let the great peeps of Memphis address it on their own? He also loves to use the term peeps in tweets. Your call, I'm all ears. Like,
as someone who has spent out of all my life, my dad lived in Memphis. I went up there every summer for probably 6 years, 7 years, and I washed cars on the car lot. And I'll tell you one thing, there's not a white person there washing cars on a car lot during the Memphis heat during the summer, except me at 14 years old. And yes, there are horrible parts of town. North Memphis If you ever seen Hustle and Flow, that they ain't lying, man. I got like the one thing Memphis doesn't have is turnarounds. We're so used to turnarounds here, and I'm going to pick up my dad. I get lost in the North Woods of Tennessee. And finally, about an hour later, I see the Mississippi River, so I know just follow the Mississippi south, and I'll know where I'm at, and I can get back home. Well, I ended up having to go through North Memphis and having to stop at the first gas station I saw, and about 40 people, not white, stopped talking and looked at me.
Unnecessary detail.
No, scary detail. Like, if you ever been to North Memphis, know your place. You know what I'm saying? And yes, nothing happened to me, man. And I was 16 years old. They could have jumped me. They could have done that. But, like, in any place that's impoverished like Memphis, and you got to go from government down, there will be crime. But that place has been building up slowly for the last 20 years. I've been going up there, you know, to go visit family. And Beale Street is one of the funnest places on earth. The stadium is right downtown. There is no reason an NBA player, besides it being a small market and maybe some frustration with the front office because of, like, look, they traded away Gasol to the Lakers, Powell, not Marc Gasol. But, like, they just haven't made good moves, and they're a small market. But to blame it on the crime rate is absolutely ridiculous. You got Germantown, which is like Stone Oak over there, and that place is beautiful. There is beautiful spots in Memphis, and there are ghetto spots in Memphis.
And that's how
know your surroundings.
And that's how every major American city. And where's this energy for Detroit?
Yeah.
Where's this energy for New Orleans? Where's this energy
for Cleveland? Don't get caught
Cleveland?
down in San Antonio in certain parts of town,
like
man.
all of those three cities I named have a higher murder rate than Memphis. Like it's not good to be arguing, well, our murder rate isn't as high as yours because it's but again, it just feels like
that's social economics. Has nothing to do with fancy NBA stars. They're not the ones getting robbed. And, like, if we want to talk about the rash of robberies and stuff like that, I didn't hear any Memphis star getting robbed. You know what I'm saying? From their house, getting looted.
No, we get a random cartel hit in North Star once or twice a year.
And I mean, it's just like they are no way, shape, or form is the crime, especially downtown on Beale Street, unless you're walking at 4 o'clock in the morning down a dark alley, and you're probably the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you find yourself walking down a dark alley at 4 a.m., that's not like whatever happens to you. You don't deserve it. But you put yourself in that situation.
You're trying to find trouble.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
It just feels like such a selective,
trying to find something.
Such a selective shot. Yeah, exactly. Cherry Street in the 90s.
Yeah,
it feels like such a selective response to
that is such a cop out. That is such a cop out, man. Like, I heard like Memphis was no more dangerous than San Antonio, no more dangerous than L.A. that I've been to. San Diego, South San Diego near Tijuana. Like, it gets rough down there. You know, like, everywhere's got their rough parts. You know what I'm saying?
And also everywhere has the Stone Oaks or the,
Dominions.
Alamo Heights or whatever.
Yeah, everywhere. Like, and there's there's iconic. I mean, you got, Elvis's house. You got Beale Street, like I said, which is like
you got the Bass Pro Shop pyramid.
Yeah, you can go, which has a Wahlburgers in there. That place is actually kind of fun. I went there. You get to see the big old aquarium.
It's on my list. I want to stay. There's a lodge. I want to stay. I watched.
I didn't know there was hotels in there until like I went in there and finally took the kid because I brought the kid there.
No,
and
I'm
I was
dead serious.
I was like, we're going to the pyramid. I was like, this is where they used to play. I went there when they played basketball. That's where the Grizzlies played. And I went to a concert there. And, like, I walked in there, and I'm like, is that a hotel room? And, like, yeah, you can get a hotel room up in the pyramid, man, and go to the very top. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, you
get to see that muddy Mississippi.
It's a good view, that observation deck they have up there. No, I again, like when Stephen A. Audio or Stephen A. Smith audio comes across, I usually ignore it and
For
move on.
someone about the culture, that was the most uncultured crap I've ever heard in my life.
Well, again, it feels like he's clearly shaping up some future aspirations in some form, whether he actually does go down the political route. He's doing more appearances on conservative-leaning podcast and having more.
He wants more say in political things.
Which, again, I think that is actually great, because the biggest problem I think we have right now is that people don't actually talk to each other. So if it's a real, authentic conversation, that's great. But I think a lot of this is more posturing than authenticity, which has kind of always been his MO.
Well, Stephen A is on timeout from the barbecue for a minute.
Yeah, just for a minute. Lastly, before we move on to the lightning round, we talked a lot Monday about the KD trade, and I thought it would be done by now. We are sitting here. So, update. I think a lot of the reason why it's not done is because apparently Minnesota and Toronto have kind of stepped back a little bit and said, look, he's making it clear, because we talked about how KD's agent and people around him are talking to certain media members, and the Spurs front office is talking to Shams and other media members, and they're, trying to build leverage through the media, which is what the NBA does more than any other league. Well, it seems like KD's winning that leverage struggle, that leverage battle right now, because him making it known public that Minnesota and Toronto are not going to get extensions from him if they trade for him, which only leaves San Antonio, Houston, maybe Miami.
And did you hear that Houston has his brother there, who is a coach or like an assistant coach?
Houston feels like the team that
feels like the one.
Well, like we talked Monday,
they still want Castle or number 2, and we're not going to give it to them.
Right. And even if they take that requirement out of the deal and still ask for Sohan, I still don't think the Spurs are necessarily ready to pull that trigger either.
We'll tell you, you don't get another 1 pick.
I think
we're going to take a 1 pick away.
Someone's going to blink because KD's going to get moved, and I think the team that blinks is going to be a combination of the Rockets make their package just a little bit better, and the Suns say, all right, fine, we'll take it. All you've got to do is beat San Antonio's offer, and we'll do the deal. So the wait continues, but...
And here's what I think about it. Well.
Yeah. I mean, we talked Monday. How much does it actually move the needle?
I don't care.
It'd be fun to watch for 3 years.
It would be. I mean, hey, let's see what we can do. But I think I'd be a little bit more excited to see what we can do with our youth.
Yeah, and be patient. The youth.
Yep.
Well, I had one more note of talking LeBron, who talked a little bit about ring culture, but let's do the lightning round. Starting off, I mentioned, talked a lot of baseball in the first segment, but we didn't talk a lot of college baseball. There was a lot of concern that Pat Hallmark, the UTSA head coach who just led them to their most successful season ever, a lot of concern that he might be on his way out.
Dang.
And then we got direct reports that San Diego State was actually in contact with him about their open job. Well, fear not. He signs a new 4-year contract to stay at UTSA. And it is a massive, massive raise. I think he goes from like 180,000 up to 320, 340,000. So huge raise.
Do we have a custom baseball park for them out there?
Well, no, it's the bird bath still could use some improvements.
Let's dump some money in there, man.
So that's the other part of it, though. He got commitments from the university specifically for some NIL funds and some development of the facility. So Hallmark stays. The other college baseball note I had earlier today, Coastal Carolina, out of the Sun Belt, are now the first College World Series finalist. They will be in the final series.
Wow.
They won their 26th straight game today.
That is ridiculous. What is the record? I'm like, we got to be pushing.
Man, that's a good question because
we got to be pushing.
You see it a lot. Like
if they win out, it's got to be close.
I remember a few years ago, a Dallas Baptist team had won a shit ton of games in a row. But normally with these small, Coastal Carolina from the Sun Belt, normally it's, they're beating up on their smaller conference teams, still good teams, but not, you're not playing an SEC, Big 10, Big 12 schedule. You're beating up on the Sun Belt teams. But then Coastal, they haven't lost a game the entire tournament run. I mean, a lot of those 26 are, not a lot, not the majority, but, the last run of those 26 have all been in the tournament. So, we know one finalist as we wait to see Arkansas and LSU playing each other tonight. Saw LSU. Yep, LSU's walked it off. So there is LSU versus Coastal Carolina for the College World Series.
There you go. All right, hit me, LG.
I love you long time.
We have one of our greatest R&B artists is alleged that another plot to kill him.
Huh?
He got rushed to the hospital for an overdose. He is saying he is being plotted on to get killed by TMZ.
The most trusted source.
Yes. And this is the second time, and it's some guy named Bop or Mop or something like that in there who has said, I'm going to kill you. And he's kept on being like, let me get out of here. Let me get an early release. Sure, early release. But, he got rushed to the hospital for a drug overdose. And he said there's a plot to kill him.
Are you referencing R. Kelly?
R. Kelly.
Okay, all right. I did see this.
R. Kelly, yes.
All right.
He was good. Trapped in the closet. That was a banger.
No, R. Kelly is R. Kelly is one of the greatest examples of separating the art from the artist.
Yes.
It's
have you tried to hear him try to read? Oh,
well,
man,
look,
poor buddy.
I just remember the interview with Gayle King where he melted down.
How young is too young?
Yeah.
How old is a teenager?
If you have to ask, you're already losing. Hit me, LG.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Other TMZ-related news, one of the chefs that I have seen the most on Food Network, Ann Burrell, dead at 55.
Yeah.
Said they found her unconscious in her Brooklyn home, unresponsive, unconscious, and was DOA upon arrival to the hospital.
Damn.
55,
What did they classify it
as? Nothing, no cause of death given yet, and no issue of suspected foul play either. So it kind of feels like they're still might be waiting on some toxicology reports and whatnot to try to figure out if it was a sudden cardiac event or if there potentially was something else that happened. I long fear the random brain aneurysm. So anytime I see someone that is, wasn't reported in bad health and only 55 years old, granted, she was like the female Guy Fieri. Yeah. She had the same bleached hair, was wild ass like that.
She was a rock star.
Exactly. And so maybe it was maybe there was actually rock star living behind the scenes, because 55 is I'm almost 40. That's not like I see the number 55 a lot differently than I used to. It's a little concerning.
We're getting close. Hit me, LG.
John Long, please.
All right, we had a Florida man making an appearance, banned from an aquarium attempting to baptize an octopus in the name of the deep ones. This man jumped into the aquarium, snatched up an octopus, held it above his head, and performed an ancient sea rite. And he kept calling it Brother Paul.
Brother Paul. I think my favorite detail of this is the name Brother Paul. Like that.
Yeah. Like this guy.
It's Saul on the road to Damascus.
So he's no longer welcome at this aquarium.
Oh, no way.
No.
This reminds me.
that's a good old Southern baptism to me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Do you remember the guy who jumped? He got butt ass naked and jumped into the aquarium at the Bass Pro Shop. Yeah. And the worst thing about it is like.
Didn't he get like a bacterial infection?
Well, I don't know. Whatever infection he might have gotten was not worse than the public the public shame of everyone laughing at his little tiny.
It's like you got a little tackle, little bait going on there.
It looked like a rubber worm lure. That's the worst. Hit me, LG.
What y'all smoking on?
Oh, a little bit of NFL-related news here real quick. Cowboys cheerleaders getting a 400% raise.
So what is that, like $1,300?
Well, so I have it tracked here. So they had in 2019, they were getting paid $200 a game.
It's ridiculous how much they got paid.
So at that point, there was
$10.99.
There was a lawsuit to that 4 of the girls, former cheerleaders, had filed against the team, and that got settled. And part of that settlement, like it wasn't one of the sexual lawsuits that would follow. That one was just a pay us more lawsuit.
Yeah.
So it got bumped from 200 to 400 in 2019, and then in 2022, when former PR guy Rich Dalrymple was caught allegedly videoing the cheerleaders changing in the locker room. Then
what was that video called?
Then we got another settlement that came out that didn't bump up their total pay, but it guaranteed them like they were now getting actual like salary. It wasn't just a contract work. So they become team
they were 1099.
employees. Right.
You know why they 1099 them is so they didn't have to
taxes.
they didn't have to give them Super Bowl rings.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes
You're not part of the team.
Well, hey, guess
you
what?
are an independent contractor.
Haven't had to worry about that lately.
Yeah.
But now they will be getting $1,600 a game.
Oh,
so
I was right on, damn near.
Yeah, it's going to be close to a 6-figure salary now to be a Cowboy cheerleader.
You get all your money from appearances and the calendar and all this other stuff.
Oh, and do it you're not going to get to dance your whole life. You're only going to be young.
But
do it for the passion of.
Don't talk to these millionaire football players. Don't you dare go out with them and set up your life.
Exactly.
For like the glitz and glamour that you always wanted.
The other NFL news I had. This something else I don't normally get real turned up about or torqued up about. The NFL released an all-quarter century team. So we're talking the best 53-man roster from the year 2000 until this year.
Mm-hmm.
Take one guess on who the starting running back is on the quarter century team. I will give you 5 guesses.
Dude, don't tell me it's Emmett.
Nope.
All right.
No, quarter century.
I know. I thought they'd do something stupid like that. The quarter century best running back, I would have to go Adrian Peterson.
Not even on. So they did 3 running backs and 1 practice squad running back. Not even in the top 4. No Adrian Peterson.
Whoa. Okay, let's go. What other 2000? Derrick Henry?
So Derrick Henry is the 3rd string running back.
All right.
The 2nd string running back is an active player right now, too.
Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey's number 2.
Okay. And then you got one that's not an active quarterback.
Neither of your
back.
starter or your 4th string practice squad guy on this.
Marshall.
LT. LT is your practice squad guy.
And Marshall Faulk.
Nope. This one, I guarantee you will.
No, I'm never going to get it. Chris Johnson?
That's a really, really good guess. And it's someone who had a similar
2,000 yards season.
3 years of excellence. And then
Jamal.
Now you're getting really, really close. Not Jamal Charles, but the guy who did it right before Jamal.
Baltimore.
He was at Baltimore first and then went from Baltimore to the Chiefs. Former Texas Longhorn Priest Holmes.
Priest Holmes?
That is who they have as the starter.
I mean, he was a stud. He was a stud, but for like 3 years.
So
they got injured.
This is what they say. The 3-year other running backs might have had longer peaks, but none of them can match the 3-year period that Holmes had from 01 to 03. In advanced DYAR metrics for total value, which is just one of these nerd analytics where so the 3 seasons that they say were unmatched, in 2001, he had the 15th highest overall value running back season in league history. In 2002, he had the 2nd highest. And in 2003, he had the 3rd highest ever in league history.
Because he set the touchdown record.
Touchdowns, and he had like
the breakaways.
Well, he had basically he averaged like 1,600 yards rushing in each of those seasons, but also had receptions.
I would still have. I mean, Adrian Peterson not being on that,
exactly
the longevity, the pure beastness, and we're not even talking about Marshawn Lynch. It's just because Marshawn Lynch, he played when he wanted to play. Edgerrin James.
Like, there's a few names that you could come up with, or even Arian Foster with the
Frank Gore, the 3rd most running back yards.
Like I said, I don't normally get to, and the receivers, we could do the same thing because they were about the same quality. Hit me again, LG.
Have you seen my baseball?
Couple more before we get out of here. I mentioned one of my favorite shows dropped a trailer earlier today. It's Always Sunny will be premiering July 9th.
I love it.
And
Sweet Charlie.
So we were talking Golden Bachelor.
Yeah.
Apparently Frank is going to be on. Frank is going to be the Bachelor.
I dropped my Magnum condom on the ground here. Oops.
I'm ready to plow.
I love this show so much.
I like to bang whores. That's what I like to do in my spare time.
Entertainment news. Something else I'm excited about, the long-awaited 3rd installment of Danny Boyle's zombie movies.
28 years later.
It is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, man. That's scary movies give me, but I'm going to watch that one.
It's one of the ones I'm a big pansy too, but that's one that I am willing to face my fears on. And then LG, hit me one last time.
You better give me one more.
Well, you're closing it, I thought.
All right, go for it.
I need work.
Local news to close it out here. We did get a reschedule of Shakira's concert. That's coming down July 5th now. So
yay, traffic.
Celebrate July 4th, and then go to the Shakira concert the next day.
Oh, so July 5th? I was like,
July 5th, yeah.
I would love to have Shakira on.
It's going to be quite a circus down there. But have y'all been following this story of someone putting muscle relaxers in banana bread down in Pleasanton?
Oh, man, someone was just selling banana bread the other day.
I know. You see it everywhere, and I've never...
It's for churches, man.
All of it, right. Yeah. So they were apparently selling it at the Whataburger down there.
Were they trying to hook them so they could sell more of it?
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's not like... It wasn't... Like, the specific drug that was used wasn't one that's
Did they just stuff the pill in there, or they put it in the batter?
I think they put it in with the batter, yeah. But it's not a one that you would necessarily want to get people hooked on because... It doesn't have a whole lot of street market. There's not.
Hey, y'all gotta think meth and oxy.
Yeah,
right?
No, you gotta think just banana bread. Don't be poisoned.
Just make it good.
I don't need to be sitting in a Moratorno at 2 a.m. closing the bar down and having the guy selling me banana bread with Xanax in it.
That would be the best banana bread ever. All right, hit me, LG.
No, sir. I didn't like it.
No, I like this one. See if you got me queued up here, LG. Me and the Puma, we gave you a little. Told me. Oh, we told you. Gave you a little teaser about one of my friends arm wrestling him on Sunday night. Let's see if we got the video of it.
What a shame.
And I only shoot in the best quality of video.
No one told me.
Oh, what a shame. LG's not going to have the video.
All right. This is one of those whale videos. We are going to tune this up for Monday. On the other one, we'll also talk Monday because I couldn't get the exact facts off. the Rafael Devers conspiracy theory about the group that owns the Boston Red Sox also owns a European
own Liverpool.
league.
They own a bunch. It's the Fenway Group or whatever.
And they just signed a $250 million that might go to $300 million midfielder and Liverpool.
Yeah,
it's a fact.
So
they can spend money there.
They might have got rid of that $200-300 Rafael Devers thing, and now Devers is on the tune of, I'll play first base. I don't care.
It is funny how quick he was willing. I'll do whatever the team needs.
Yeah,
I'm all in. All right, well, LG, get us out of here. Tomorrow night.
You lucky, Puma.
I lied.
You're lucky this one.
My pride
It's
survives
coming.
another night. NBA Finals Game 6 tomorrow night. Also, if you're not doing anything, my buddy from Austin, his band is playing at the Starlighter tomorrow night. So I believe.
What type of music we got?
It's like indie festival rock.
Festival rock.
Yeah, Southbound Echoes is the name of his band. They think going on sometime around 10. So I will be out there tomorrow night. If you want to follow along on X at Biggest Puma, Instagram biggest.puma.
Instagram, the Captain 210.
Till next time, y'all have a great weekend. Be safe.
Still
be
working
good.
on that TikTok.
Peace. Perpetually.
Kids, what do we say about drugs?
Only thugs use drugs. They love to drugs.
Yeah!